With the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, many of us will welcome a chance to sleep in by the end of the month. Well, here's a few Montana animals that are a bit ahead of us as they have entered hibernation. It's a curious phenomenon that's beginning to yield some of its secrets. Our wildlife correspondent Tanner Saul explains more in this week's edition of A Wilder View.
Bears have an enormous appetite. They will eat and eat and eat to gain fat, especially before winter. But of course, all those pounds serve a purpose: to survive hibernation. These big mammals are helping scientists unlock some of hibernation's mysteries. But first, let's clear up a hibernation misconception. Most people believe hibernation is bears going to sleep in November and then waking up for the first time in the spring. But that's not the whole story. They don't spend that entire time asleep. They have a fairly regular sleep-wake pattern. They wake up occasionally to stretch their legs and walk around their den. Pregnant females actually give birth and nurse their cubs during hibernation. For a mama bear, gaining weight before hibernation is even more important. How much fat she is able to gain before hibernating will determine the health, weight, and number of cubs. But what scientists don't fully understand is how bears can get so heavy and yet stay relatively healthy. Eating this much fat, bears exhibit some of the signs of type 2 diabetes. But then, suddenly it reverses itself. Studying how bears are able to beat diabetes could have implications far beyond the bear world. A treatment for type 2 diabetes may be hiding in hibernation. Beyond that, it could help us travel amongst the stars. In films, we see crew members aboard spacecraft go into hibernation chambers to conserve food and water. It may seem far-fetched, but researchers suggest that if we could lower our metabolic rate much in the same way that bears do, we would be one step closer to turning that scenario from fiction to fact. So the key to man setting foot on Mars may be revealed through hibernating bears. In Missoula, Tanner Saul, MTN News.
Researchers studying another hibernator, the 13-lined ground squirrel, used one of their biological tricks to help wounded soldiers survive serious injuries when help was a long way off. The researchers created a cocktail that mimicked the squirrel's blood during hibernation, and that helped prevent shock due to blood loss and can buy the wounded precious time until help arrives. That is so cool.
That's just awesome, isn't it?
Right? So many things I learned there, including there's such a thing as a 13-line ground squirrel.
Yes.
I have no idea what that is. I'm sure if we saw one, we'd be like, oh, that's what that one's
Gonna
called.
Google it now, but I'll be thinking about that bear scratching its back all day long.
That was great.
That's a great shot.
Mike, I've seen you do that before.
I do
Come
that.
on
That's
now.
exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Up against the, it's embarrassing to be caught, though. It is.
That's